Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I am Isla hosting for today, joined by Simply Damiani.
Simply Damiani. I like that. That's nice. I simply have my two cats sleeping on my feet right now.
He can't move.
I can't move. They are, they're snuggling on my foot and they're keeping it nice and warm right now. So, yeah. There's down.
I love that. I love that.
It's better than them being up here and knocking everything over, or Sid going for my cables and knocking everything over.
That's true. Damiani, as you can see, is in his ethereal form today because I can't move Robamiani by myself. Don is coming in much later tonight to edit this episode. Blood is working, and Huber has family in from out of town that he hasn't seen in a very long time. So that takes precedence on that. So today it's me and Damiani. And but it's not going to be a slouch of an episode. We've got a lot to talk about. I've read articles for this, Damiani.
Oh.
It's unthinkable.
It's happened.
I've done research for this episode, Damiani. God damn it.
It defeats the purpose.
Yeah, I'm knowledgeable. It feels bad. No, we jest. But yeah, this week we're talking about what's new, what's news, and what we've been playing. We've got Microsoft doing whatever the hell they're doing with maybe shutting down most of their who knows what's happening. We'll get into it. State of Unreal revealed some AI integrations. Unreal 6 seems kind of weird. We'll get into that. We've got Stronghold 4 demo, which I played, which everyone can get their hands on, I believe, on the 23rd.
Nice.
So I'm excited to talk about that. And then we've got huge, massive, earth-shattering GTA 6 news.
Oh, yeah. There must be developers out there who just saw that and are seeing the views and are like, fuck you.
Fucking,
what the fuck is that? How low effort is that?
Hilarious, dude. I love it.
A poster trailer.
Yeah, we'll talk about that right now, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, we are obviously joking around just a little bit. GTA 6, about 8 hours ago, as of time of recording this, 9 hours ago now, posted a 32-second trailer that currently has, 4.6 million views after 9 hours of being up. And it is a cover art reveal for the box of the game.
I mean,
which is fun and cool, whatever. And it also says that you can pre-order 1 week from today, as we record this, June 25th, Thursday. So yeah, fun day for Huber to skip.
Yeah, I mean that's why he's really not here. He saw
That's why he's not here.
Yeah, he passed out from the hype. He's still
he's in the ER.
He's recovering right now. He's like called all of us like, place the pre-orders for me if I can't make it.
Yeah.
Get them in.
Oh, that would have been a good bet. How many views will the GTA 6 30-second trailer have next week?
Oh, gosh.
That would have been funny to
put
do.
it into perspective, Ocarina of Time, that teaser trailer, which was revealed to be had the highest engagement of any media released over SGF. The Nintendo of America official upload only has 2.4 million views over 9 days.
Wow.
So
this doubled it in 9 hours.
Yeah. I mean, the Veronica remake trailer might have more views.
Okay.
No, it only has 1.9 million. So
if
you combine both of those, they're about on par with
You're
GTA
almost
6.
getting to GTA 6 cover art.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's a good, it looks like a GTA 6 cover, or a GTA cover. It's got a helicopter, it's got a motorcycle, it's got a boat, it's got a crocodile, Bloodworth. Which one's the one he always yells at us about? Florida is crocodiles, not alligators.
I don't know. Is Florida alligators or crocodiles? Florida is the only state in the U.S. where both wild alligators and crocodiles coexist.
Doesn't Blood always claim it's only crocodiles or something?
While American alligators can be found statewide in all 67 counties, American crocodiles are restricted exclusively to the coastal and brackish waters of South Florida. Sorry,
they like it brackish.
Yeah.
So it's mostly alligators, mostly gators.
So it's mostly gators. That's why they call the Florida Gators, I think, in their college football. Or all their college sports are named Gators. Sorry, not just football.
I think it's the other way around. I think crocs are pointy and alligators are square.
I don't know.
What are the snout shapes of gators and crocs?
Because of my nephews, anytime you say Crocs, I think of the footwear. So I can't think of anything other than that. But I don't know. Which one are you trying to find?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Which one are you
Alligators have a wide, rounded U-shaped snout designed for crushing hard prey, like turtles. Oh.
Yep.
And crocodiles have longer, narrower V-shaped snouts that are highly hydrodynamic for catching fish.
Hydrodynamic. Very devastating. Maybe they'll have
What's devastating?
Maybe they'll have the hydrodynamic snout, their teeth. You know, maybe they'll have a crocodile versus alligator mission in Grand Theft Auto 6.
Why is it devastating that crocs have a hydrodynamic snout? Devastating if you're a fish.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a devastating power there. It sounds like a Pokemon move.
I see.
The crocodile uses hydrodynamic bite.
Yeah. I thought you were devastated emotionally.
No.
By the snout shape of a crocodile.
No. Not that.
No. All right. Moving on to our, the meat and potatoes of this episode, potentially. Xbox is Xboxing once again. They are moving to potentially close. This is all still in the air, developing. Lots of who knows what's going on, but moving to close several studios, including Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, and Double Fine. This week, news broke via Bloomberg that Microsoft is considering shutting down multiple game studios, including Compulsion Games, who did recently South of Midnight, Double Fine, who, without saying, Psychonauts 2, Keeper recently, Kiln very recently, Arcane, Dishonored, etc. Ninja Theory, who just announced the game, Senua, Hellblade 3, which we'll get into that in a second. Also, Xbox Game Studios boss Craig Duncan is stepping down, as well as Chief of Staff Louise O'Connor.
Yeah, not a good sign when you see that. Also, Arcane, did you say Blade? That's their
right,
current
the new
project.
Blade.
That's the big one. Like people are like, so is
holy
Blade,
shit? Yeah, I forgot.
Movie Blade maybe dead. Game Blade maybe dead. Like not good.
This is nuts.
Yeah,
and they're claiming, it's being reported by Bloomberg and Polygon and others that studios will quote unquote have the opportunity to buy their independence, but for how much? After a big outlay of cash like that, there would probably result in layoffs anyway for these companies. And then also they're saying employees at many Xbox teams are being given, quote unquote, permission to look for new work. And it seems layoffs are pretty likely on the horizon in July, kind of across departments.
Yeah.
Pretty nuts. I have a lot about this, Damiani, so you can just jump in. Otherwise, I'll just start giving details.
There was a really good, obviously there've been a lot of articles. Bloomberg, Jason Schreier also, that article's from him. They also put out a companion piece video that kind of broke down more about why Xbox has been failing. But the biggest thing I would take away is that even he's pointing out while he's hearing a lot of things, you pointed out as well, Isla, things are still very much up in the air in terms of the fate of all of these studios.
Yeah.
A lot of headlines are just running with they're already closed, they're done, it's over, and it's
right. It's they're thinking about it.
Yeah. Now, what gives me we'll get into a lot of stuff, but what gives me pause and concern about the studio negotiation part is we recently, had a Tencent telling Negotiate Studio. The maker, former Yakuza creator, that Gang of Dragon, and saying that, okay, we're not going to fund it anymore. And you have an option. We're not going to shut it all down right now. But if anyone's interested in buying the studio and bailing this out, you have to do all that plus all the development costs of this game up to this point, which was $40+ million. So I'm worried about any Arcane with Marvel. If they're yo, we have a base cost you're gonna have to pay us, and then we want you to, if another company wants to buy Arcane, you're also gonna have to pay us for all the development cost. Like, how expensive is that gonna get for each studio? And like, these are, like, that's something I would never have thought of until I heard about like the whole Nagoshi Studios situation.
Which is typical of companies, you know. It's the same in film, where it's like if Netflix pays you, you know, $200,000 in development fees for a pilot or whatever, and then they pass, but someone else buys the pilot, that entity buying that pilot has to pay back the $200,000 to Netflix for the development fees, which, like, on one level, you know, makes sense. I wonder if in this case, like, because these costs are so astronomical, if Xbox could maybe, and this is just theorizing, but like, I know that some publishers, or many publishers with game developers, especially if they're an independent, you know, wholly owned, their own kind of company, they'll do deals where it's like, okay, we'll fund everything, but you don't really get anything back until we've recouped everything we've gotten, and then we'll split the rest, like, get a percentage. We get a chunk, you get a chunk. And so, like, you don't really start making money until the game is broken even. I wonder if Xbox would consider doing something like that for these games. Like, they would have to outlay cash to buy their company, probably, but like, for the Blade game, right? Like, you know, until it makes the $400 million back, you don't get anything.
Feels like that would have to involve a third party, like the company trying to purchase Arcane potentially would probably, that might be part of the negotiation with Microsoft, where it's like, okay, we might make it cheaper for you to acquire them, but until they release this game, you know, that's something that's we get to recoup. My other part of the concern is, even with that, we're just seeing we've been seeing layoff studio closures for now like almost 3 years. We're hearing whispers, again, nothing definitive, but these same journalists that are reporting that all this is happening are saying, wait till July. Like, there's some, like, July is going to, apparently we're going to see a drastically different gaming landscape than we're seeing even like right now, including Xbox and Microsoft, with whispers of like other studios. And it sucks. Like, you know, it would be nice if people could like name names, because it's like a lot of anxiety for the people out there. This sucks for everyone working. But the problem is, it sounds like more studio closures and layoffs beyond this are coming down the pipeline. And given what's going on for the past 3 years, I don't know where the money is for anyone else to step in. Tencent's pulling back on West. Like, the thing is,
Embracer Group.
Yeah, we've gone through this quite a bit, and a lot of it is due to like various factors, like rising costs, everything. But quite frankly, while not all these, again, only Arcane and Double Fine are U.S. based studios. The other ones being mentioned, Ninja Theory and Compulsion Games, are not. But development costs in the West and the U.S. specifically have like ballooned into like astronomical proportions, and it looks like people are trying to move elsewhere with studios. So I'm not sure where the money is going to come from and how much interest there really is in this. Like, taking the studio wholesale versus like maybe trying to poach talent and bring it over to another studio. I'm
breaking it down for parts, I wonder. Well, and also like this is kind of where we're reaping what we have sown here, these big companies, right? Because everyone went insane during and after COVID, and just went on a buying spree, right? Like, Microsoft, you know, it was like a joke for a while that like, oh, they got embraced. Like, oh, Xbox bought another one. Like, we've announced 19 goddamn studios that we just bought or whatever. That one, I don't remember what it was, but a few years ago when Microsoft had that big slate of things that they've acquired, you know. And some of it was happening before COVID as well. But like, we're now seeing like, you know, okay, this big gamble didn't really pay off, I guess. Reminder that in 2021, Microsoft bought ZeniMax for $7.5 billion, the parent company, you know, that handled Bethesda and all that kind of stuff. And then 2023, they purchased Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, which was, you know, we talked about that whole legal snafu for a long time.
Yeah, we that was, I mean, big deal. Real quick, sorry, I caught myself. I was looking up something. Sorry, it was not Tencent. It was NetEase for Nagoshi Studio. Sorry, it was not Tencent. NetEase. But yes, what a good point. Since like and credit to Jason Schreier's video for re-enlightening everybody who may have forgotten like the history of like Microsoft and acquisitions. It goes back to like the 360 days with acquiring like Minecraft, and a lot of these studios are up for negotiations right now. Were acquired in the late latter half of the 2010s, like 2017 to 2019 era, and so these are only a few years ago, but they've been ramping up in terms of like buying these studios. And as you said, the big ones they got, ZeniMax and Activision Blizzard, were like at the height of like the COVID boom, where money was flowing, interest rates were super low, and everyone was expanding. And now the money, the taps have been turned off. The well is dry,
right?
And you're seeing this contraction happening because there's not enough there. But go ahead.
It's easy to get into like a doom and gloom kind of a thing, and I don't even think that that's maybe incorrect to be a little pessimistic about all of this, because it's like, having heard third hand some rumors about like what higher ups are getting paid at companies, it's like I feel like the as in all things, the bottom is paying for the top, right? Like the CEOs are where a lot of the money is getting wasted. And like I think that if things were more appropriately distributed, it might help. I'm not saying that would fix anything, but it would definitely help. I just think like these are just such examples of like, eyes were too big for our stomach. We bought all this stuff. Now, obviously it's not paying out. I think it's weird that like CEOs of, and parent companies of gaming divisions don't understand game dev times. And that like, you're buying something now to have a product in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And like, I think that sometimes that gets kind of lost in the shuffle. Because like these giant big 4-quadrant games take time and money.
Yeah, money is a big thing. I think it's the bummer Heber's not here, but something another thing I was watching recently from another game economist analyst was pointing out that a lot of people misunderstood. It's not just video games, but the fundamental illiteracy of people when it comes to like budgets of productions, whether it's game or movies, and that the budget isn't necessarily the problem, it's the burn rate. And there's a term that's been around, very common, but it's like how much money a company is burning through in each month, like with all the costs associated. And as you said, when executives don't understand that a game is going to take X amount of years, they think it's like going to be this amount of years. They approve a budget, but when the burn rate, starts, it's you do the math, X amount of dollars per month times how many months it's going to take. When you cross over that, the threshold of, oh, we thought the game would be out by now, and now the studio is burning through more and more money. It's like, wait, now the game has to sell how many more additional copies to like recoup that investment? Or it has to come from like, the money has to come from somewhere, whether it's like a Rockstar and Take-Two having Grand Theft Auto, which will be like a cash cow that apparently can fund them for 10 years at a time. You have something like that, or a live service game like a Fortnite or something, or League of Legends, or something that big that's constantly bringing in cash that funds your other products. But even what we've seen with those successful ones, even at Riot, even at Epic, those sometimes don't bring in enough money anymore to cover the burn rate for a lot of these other projects in these studios. And it's associated with the rising cost of development, especially in the US right now.
Yeah, and it's just so interesting, right? Because games are so opaque about budgets, and the disparity, I think, in budgets between, games that are perceived as indie, although indie is a pointless, worthless term, but like, budgets of a few $1 million, upwards of 10, 30, whatever $1 million, versus like, I think people think that AAA games have budgets akin to like an MCU movie, right? Which is like 200 million or whatever. But like an MCU movie is a huge moving machine that costs $200 million, and they were in production for a year or two, right? Like a game has as many moving parts, sometimes more, in a company and is being worked on for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's like games, like huge, big blockbuster games have budgets in the high hundreds of thousands. Like rumors about GTA 6 having a $1 billion budget, who knows? But like, I have heard some things about other big blockbuster games where it's like $600, $700, $800 million.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of new videos, especially recently, people putting out videos trying to like explain like this concept of like why budgets are so big compared to even like Hollywood films, because it used to be the old, like I think like 10 years ago it was, they were saying that it was about per employee, it was like $10,000 a month was like the rate. And so you multiply that by 12, that's their yearly rate, and then multiply that by the employees, like that was the average. Now it's apparently like double or more that. And so you do that, and like, you know, even like to say like 20,000 a month times 12, $240,000, you know, for one employee. Now these companies have like 300, 400, 500 people across all their divisions. Yeah.
And like to be competitive for like a good programmer, good lead designer, good artist, like lead artists, you're talking, like $170,000, $200,000 a year. I think that like, I know like, you know, several like C-suite VP people, you know, getting $600,000 a year, upward of millions a year, you know, and it's like, I would prefer that money to go to the artist, but whatever.
So,
but, you know,
if you 20,000 a month times 12 times, let's say 300 employees for, you know, a smaller AAA company. And again, this is, you know, people have been like pointing these out examples that I'm kind of borrowing from this. That's
we're spitballing, obviously.
72,
like, don't quote us on
$72 million a year times like an average development of like 5 years now. And what, like that's like ridiculous. Like you're getting like $360 million on that. Like that's like,
and that's for like not even the biggest games.
That's like how much? Okay. So it was a Jurassic World Dominion is now the most expensive, movie. It surpassed Force Awakens. $658.8 million is the most expensive movie.
Was the budget?
Was the budget for that?
Is that including marketing?
That's supposed to be like everything, supposedly.
Okay, yeah.
That's everything.
Because that's absurdly high for just production. But like, for in film, the rule of thumb, which is obviously like, you know, wildly inaccurate probably, but like you take the budget and double it, and that's how much marketing is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if your movie costs $200 million. The budget is really $400 million to break even. Roughly.
I mean, it's up there when we're talking like the lower end to middle end of like a AAA game is approaching, you know, that was like a lower end, but like if you like just boost it up by like more, like, you know, maybe higher monthly rate plus like more employees at some of the bigger AAA companies and studios, you're approaching like that 500 million, 600. And like people have said that some of the budgets, like that's even on a low end for some. Like apparently like, big games like Halo, Destiny, like their things are like, apparently way higher than that. You know, no one's given numbers, but to put it in perspective, like when people think of video game, and like a AAA, when they see like a Grand Theft Auto, if you ask a casual person, they probably think it costs $100 to $200 million because they think of a movie. They're like, oh, that's probably like a $200, maybe a $300 million game budget, right? Like that's like the high end, and like that game probably had like.
I've been told some budgets, and they're like 700 or 800 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably closer to $1 billion, I would guess, than 100 million.
And like all of this is to say, like we're not trying to defend Microsoft because fuck no, but like. I think it's just like people don't understand like how expensive games are, and like what the double-edged sword of huge budget stuff. I use film as an example, obviously, because it's easier for me. But like you look at something like Disclosure Day or something even more like Transformers or whatever, like a Michael Bay tentpole picture, right? Where it's like, okay, this has to appeal to the most number of people. It just has to mathematically. Because it cost $240 million and the marketing budget was that much as well, right? So, like, we have to make $600 million or this thing doesn't make money. And, like, to do that, you have to not offend, not challenge, and appeal to the most number of people you possibly can, right? And so it's like these huge games have this huge burden on them while also not being able to take any risks or be like artistically challenging. which is a whole other thing, which is why this is such a bummer to bring it back around to this, which is why this is such a drag for me that these kind of medium-sized developers that got bought by this huge conglomerate, Microsoft, this giant monster.
Yes.
Like, they're now going to cut all the studios that were taking risks, that were doing interesting, challenging things, right?
Yes.
And like, the theory of a giant thing owning you is that the big kid pictures, the big games, you know, your tent poles, your Call of Duties, your Blizzard stuff, your whatever, like, in theory, if things were working as one would hope, the consumer would hope, right? Like, Call of Duty makes X amount of money.
Yeah.
So that Compulsion Games can lose a little bit of money, but still get to exist.
Yes.
Like, the success, like, raising tides rise all ships or whatever, right? Like, the whole idea of this should be for the consumer, like, the big, successful, huge thing helps pay for the small, weird, artistic things.
Exactly.
But, like, somewhere along the way, that went out the door.
I think it went out the door with the loss of, sadly, I think, the regime change with Phil Spencer going out. Because I believe it was Phil who told, like, when he was the one who was at the head when they acquired these studios, like Compulsion, Double Fine. And it was, you know, reported, you know, that they told him, just make these award-winning games. Please, you know, maybe don't lose us a shit ton of money. Try and make money or break even or something. I'm imagine that was like behind the scenes. But like prestige games that like bolster our appeal, because the other thing you're talking about, like, you know, having like Call of Duty sales. The other big thing we haven't like addressed yet is because all this was part of their grand plan called Game Pass. That this is what all these things were
Game
supposed
Pass
to be.
has entered the chat.
Yes, this is what it was all supposed to be building up to. Was this incredible library of games from these amazing studios that got people to buy into the subscription model, kept people paying into it, and that would sustain everything. And that, you know, sales maybe wouldn't matter as much because it was like a prestige thing to add to the catalog that would get people like an HBO.
You could say this is a Peabody BAFTA award-winning game.
Exactly, and now it feels like maybe we obviously nothing's been said, but it feels like maybe the wheels are coming off a little bit with Game Pass and what's going on there.
I mean, like, the price fluctuations, I think, are evidence of that. I think, like, raising the price so dramatically was evidence of a lack of confidence in Game Pass's success so far, but then pivoting back to still raising it, but raising it by less, is indicative that, you know, the reaction to our price hike was so negative that we have to pivot back again and just kind of cut our losses and try to land somewhere in the middle. I foresee a world now, which I think I just kind of started saying this earlier and then forgot to say it, but like, I foresee a world where like these middle-sized companies just don't get to exist anymore because no one can pay for them. Where we only have Call of Duties and Overwatches, and we don't even get like Destiny 2s anymore. We get like, you know, it's only football and Call of Duty and then a bunch of really cool indie games and like nothing in between, which would be kind of a pity. Like,
Yeah, would always lament the loss of like having studios that can take risk and do something like that. And it does feel like with the direction things are heading, that studios are going to double down on the things that have the highest chance of succeeding. Proven IPs, sequels, you know, more iterative stuff, less, you know, as I said, bold initiatives.
Which is what movies have been doing for years.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And again, it's really disheartening. We might like lose that. And then, but even with like some of these studios that are doing well, in terms of like, they have award-winning games. It looks like, you know, they sold some copy. It looks to us like they sold enough. They didn't like, it's like they didn't meet sales targets. And so they are no longer, you know, they might be expendable. Like they might want to move in a different direction. And this is why you're seeing, like, I mean, obviously AI, tariffs, world situation shit has contributed to rising cost of everything. But at the same time, when any business, when their first thing usually to do here, especially like here in the U.S. in our financial system, is if you're getting less customers, they, instead of lowering prices and shit to try and bring customers in, they jack up the prices for the people who are loyal, who are still buying into it. And so like when people are like game prices going up, like, yes, that's partially due to all of that as well, but also like collector's editions, physical editions costing more, like Nintendo, they're doing it because they know those are like not necessarily the whales, but like the enthusiast crowd who are going to like do that. And so all of this is like keeps pushing it more and more and more. But even with all that, like games now being like $79.99, $80, it's like, even if they could keep all the profit, like every penny from that, it's like $80 times like 5 million copies. We would think was a great amount to sell for anything. Like some games would be, exact. That comes at the pure profit of like 400 million, I believe. And we were talking about budgets, like if like middle studios and indie studios, I'm sure like that would be great. But for like a AAA, that's like on the lower end of like, is that actually enough? Did we sell is 5 million copies? So like when we see like, oh, Final Fantasy 16 sold like 5 million or something, it's like it seems like that might have been okay because they probably were like, they probably cost a little bit less in development. But if that was like something else, like maybe that was a big AAA open world RPG made in like the US, that might have been like shit, that's not quite enough to justify pursuing another one of this. And this is where,
how many times have we heard Square themselves saying it did not meet expectations?
Yeah, this is the thing. And I understand it, like I get it. I've enlightened myself in the past few days about it's a little bit more complicated and like yelling at shareholders, yelling at things like there's like apparently like so many different types of shareholders I even know, but like when we say it, we're talking about like the greedy evil ones. Like we're
Huber, he's a very, he sees the world in a certain way, and bless his heart, but like when he screams "fuck the shareholders," he means "fuck the CEOs."
Because like shareholders, David, like I was kind of confused in this. Like shareholders don't own the company owns the company, apparently. But back to like back to like budgets and stuff. The one thing about like studios that I see, and I had to watch a whole video on this as well to get in line, because I have asked this question, myself. Why don't studios pivot to smaller projects then? Like, okay, if you're just so expensive to make these AAA games, why don't you spin off into smaller studios, under your umbrella, make smaller games like those those smaller middle level games that were between indie and AAA. And apparently, like that ties back to like burn rate and like budget and burn rates, that the ground floor for the operating cost of any studio is always going up. It never goes down, or else you're in trouble. Like apparently that's like the sign of like you have to lay off people, or the company needs to close. This is true of like any business, not just games. So like this is like just capitalism and growth. And so you have to make bigger projects apparently to this is from a YouTuber called like the Game Economist, I believe, was like watching their video, and to provide a source where I got this from, and they were just saying that like, yes, like he says it's particularly bad in the game media industry that journalists don't talk about this enough, that you can't just switch gears and go back to being an indie studio if you're EA. EA cannot go back to being indie studio realistically. It would fundamentally like shatter the organization, and it would not be EA anymore, and like tons of layoffs, no growth, people would be displaced. Like it would be more harm than good, apparently. Just like Hollywood studios can't go back to being independent studios either. It's not possible. Or the big banks can't go back to being like a corner lender or whatever like that. It just there's no in capitalism you cannot do that. Apparently.
When everything is so entrenched and intertwined, because it's like people own parts of each other, and This is why people leave companies and start up their own company, though, because that is the way to do it. Is you cannot do it within a company. So like when you see your favorite maybe developer leave and start off their new studio, like why didn't they just stay there and make their project there? Because it could not work there, apparently, because even if that game was successful, even if you like put like a dedicated 20-person team that costs very little amount of money, everyone else is still employed at that company. Everyone else is still needs to get paid their salaries.
that operating cost, that burn rate is still there. And like, that was kind of a line. He's like, oh yeah, that like, this seems obvious, but like very good to point this out because people will just like not realize that. It's like, holy shit. Like, yeah. But also what you love to say as much, Isla, about like, fuck capitalism and shit like that. It's like, this is the byproduct of like what the system, like, the people are just playing by the rules of the game and the system they're in. So like,
well, and like the shareholders, as Chad is also pointing out, like the shareholders want the share price to go up, and like don't always care how or why the share price has gone up, right? So if laying off or cutting off, several of your studios in this example is, will make the perception of the company's value and the share go up, that makes the shareholders happy, right? So it's like, F the shareholders in that regard, I guess, too, where it's just like, this engine of emotion and fear that we call the stock market does drive so much of business decision. And like, there's no real, SpaceX is a great example recently where it's like, this is a company that's all speculative and doesn't really make any money. But it has this crazy IPO, and it's just like nothing is real. Like everything is just so weird and speculative and not based on art or products as much as we would want them to be, right? Yeah. Like in this case, because it's like, and then you think about across the pond, right, in Japan, and you compare to like long-running Japanese studios like Capcom or, Nintendo, where it's like, or FromSoft, right, where it's like they keep people on the payroll for many years. People are like lifers, right, oftentimes at companies. But then you hear stories about how little people are paid, and so it's like everything is different and everything is complicated. But it's just like that's a different example of how to do it. Yeah, but for an American competitive salary race, would you get the people that and people wouldn't stay? Like, it's such a different landscape.
Yeah, studios would either have to leave the high cost of living areas in the U.S., which would sadly be San Francisco, L.A., New York. There aren't a lot of studios, I think, in New York, and probably like the Seattle area. And they would have to move to other locations that are lower costs of living, but that gets into a whole other can of worms about like why people live there in the first place, and West Coast
and differences in work culture in America versus Japan. Like obviously there's so much of that, like, too much to go into. But
West Coast was appealing for a lot of those studios because it was like the shortest flight from Japan to US for them versus having to travel maybe to the East Coast. But globalization's happened. I don't think that's much of an issue anymore. But like when you look at other places in the world for how like usually salaries are lower comparatively for anything, including game development specifically, compared to like U.S. wages. So it's like Japanese wages have always been behind, although they're doing a better job of like trying to like boost those up a little bit as they can. But like even in Europe, like you think of it as high cost of living, but their wages, like the salaries they get compared to us, they're like, oh wow, you guys make a lot comparatively for like what your role is.
Well, and also like the thing that people don't take into account too is like, and like I've done a lot of looking into moving to Europe, right? And it's like, the costs, the things you don't have to pay for if you don't live in America, like $1,200 a month for insurance, for example, that adds up. Yeah. Like that shit adds up.
Yeah. Like it's a thing that like studios and because Microsoft also like their U.S. headquarters based out of like Washington, Nintendo based out of Washington, Sony, L.A. I believe, right? Like that is, I forget if they're L.A. or if they're like for Sony, like their U.S. headquarters basically for Sony. I know Sony,
Santa Monica's.
I keep forgetting.
I don't know if Sony proper is here,
but like a lot of the U.S.
Sony Pictures is in.
Yeah, a lot of the U.S. branches of international companies or just the U.S. companies there, but some aren't. Like Epic is in North Carolina. Rockstar. I'm sorry. not Arcane. Id is like in Dallas, I believe.
Yeah.
Their studio's in Austin. They're like the people who make Madden right around Florida, Tiburon, right? Are they still doing that? I forget if that's just they're based in Florida, I believe. Might have been at one point.
I confess, I don't know who makes Madden.
Yeah, but
sorry.
Midway, Chicago. It's like they have. It has been more spread out, but it feels like it has consolidated a lot to like the West Coast. And honestly, maybe that's like something people have to like. Yeah, Gearbox is. I live very close to Gearbox. I would say like that might be something they need to reevaluate potentially if they want to keep these studios in the U.S. And I'm not sure, but more immediately back to like this. I do hope there is a path forward that either these companies can buy their independence somehow and be able to, at least fund, like, the current projects they're working on, be able to like get those out to have a chance. I hate when studios close because like, the IPs get, who owns the IPs anymore for that studio? Where did they go?
Right.
And then like we talked about this so many times, Isla, about the talent being scattered when they're already in a nice like a team that's already been working on these games. We just saw it in a giant interview with Square Enix about why the Remake trilogy is coming out within 3 games in 7 years, and they're doing so well because the retention, the staff retention for their studio teams, and that's actually something they said it's atypical for Square Enix. They usually send people off to another project. They don't do that, but they decided to do it this one, and it's like paying off, and hopefully they, that's something that can be done. But like we see that time after time result in like, okay, follow-up game, a sequel is usually such a big improvement because that team stayed together. They know everything, and they know the feedback, they know what to do versus new people having to come in and like relearn everything from scratch, basically.
Well, yeah, and RE Engine is like the biggest example of this for me, where it's like, and I mean, I don't know the Capcom turnover or like how they structure their teams or whatever, but like clearly they have the Resident Evil people who like rotate between a few projects because they're putting them out like every year, like every other year, like clockwork, and the quality isn't flagging, like it's just like such a different way of doing things. Obviously, again, the comparison isn't exactly fair, but like I think that can't be overstated, like that keeping people on your team who know your tools, like it's important. And like I just think that also there's another part of this where, and like I don't know to what extent the average consumer, right, who, like obviously there are people who only play Madden and Call of Duty and whatever and like don't listen to podcasts like this one. And then there are people who play South of Midnight or Psychonauts 2 or Keeper and don't listen to podcasts like this one. People who play kind of whatever they want but don't engage in the discourse of news media, of games media. Do they have a perception, I wonder, of any of this happening? Like, does it matter? Like, because to me, this continuous like, lack of artistic integrity from these companies, like this continuous kind of just heartless corporate bullshit, like it erodes my confidence in the brand overall, right? Like as a consumer, I'm like, okay, you clearly only care about capital and don't care about these games at all. And like, to me, it's like Xbox might as well just stop. Like they might as well just quit, because it's like, it's so funny to me to have Asha Sharma come out and say, like, as we return to Xbox at SGF or whatever she said. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, A? But B, your return to Xbox is, hey, we're going to kill all the companies that have interesting artistic things to say, and we're only going to focus on big money makers. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, then I don't give a shit. Like, this isn't interesting to me anymore. Yep. Like, I don't care about Madden or Call of Duty. Like, I don't care about, only kind of care about, like Halo. It's just so
Gears.
I don't care at all about Gears because I never played Gears. But like, obviously, that's just me. But it's just like, okay, you're clearly making a statement that this company isn't for me. So it's like, okay, see you later. Like, I'll just cancel Game Pass again.
Yeah. This is with the previous podcast, the podcast following up the SGF, where I was saying like mixed messaging from like, felt like Microsoft didn't know what they're doing. I mean, this is more like now that things have come out, this is like, and going back to like the past like 10, 15 years of their like decision making, starting with Xbox One and like the core overreaction to like the initial feedback to the plan for that system, you know, which is ahead of its time. Like if that came out today, which is basically like what the Xbox Series S is, it's like fine. And, you know, an all digital platform, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, it was too soon, but like this is the thing. They keep changing course too quickly to pivot. And I think like someone probably like is convinced that like in this day and age, you gotta be quick to pivot and stuff. But like, sometimes like that doesn't mean for like your large umbrella picture. I mean, that means that's for like trend chasing or something like that. You're like,
well, trend chasing,
is also bad.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, but this is what I was going to say too. Is like the fourth part of this whole pie is this entire generation, and a lot of people have been saying this, but like this entire generation has been stymied by this chasing the white dragon of fucking games as a service, of live service games, right? Like because 3 of them were hugely successful. Sony and Xbox pivoted their entire fucking operation to try to get these things. Like Naughty Dog wasting all this time on a multiplayer game instead of like just keeping to what they're good at, right? And then canceling it because they were like, we'd either have to be a live service company or a single person first person games one single player games company. Like they literally said that, and it's like this crazy. This generation has been so weird because it feels like we haven't even like hit our stride yet in this generation, and it's nuts. Like the pivot to live service was so damaging, and it was so trend chasing.
I think a 1-2 of like pivoting to live like that is a big thing as well. Like trend chasing like that. Yeah, and there's like other decisions they've made over the course of, like I said, like the past like probably like decade. I mean, for better or worse, like breaking exclusivity in like under the Phil Spencer era when Game Pass was announced, also bringing games to PC. Like their exclusives were on PC before Sony did this, or anyone else did this. They were the first to cross that line of the major 3. And obviously, that like, it's like, well, if you're a PC enthusiast, you're just going to get those games on there and you don't need an Xbox hardware anymore. And Game Pass, but it's like, okay, well, Game Pass is their bet, and trying to pivot from that now and then like pivot back to like exclusives and like, the like it's like, I don't know. Like it just feels like maybe like stick with it a little longer or make like smaller adjustments. Like don't like they don't feel like, sorry, to be more concise here and clear, it feels like they don't make incremental changes that make sense. It feels like they do big swings. And
they go from everything is an Xbox back to no, only an Xbox is an Xbox.
So like Xbox One,
well, which is it?
Like Xbox One, I saw some people in chat like criticizing it. I was like, so specifically, yes, what they're unveiling, everyone was up in arms about what they were planning, and like they should have like started to like, okay, let's backpedal on a few of those things, like maybe like the DRM thing and like digital only. But then like they had a vision like with Kinect, and like they had all these things that they were gonna roll out, and then like they didn't stick with them very long and kept like pivoting. Oh no, because we have Kinect, our system's too expensive. We're $100 more expensive than the PlayStation 4 now. Oh, we're done. Plus our bad showing. We're done here. It's like, well, destroy all that, ditch all of that, and like cut this price of the system and just do what PlayStation's do. Like copy them verbatim. It's like, you probably could have like, there was like probably a more measured response there, because as we saw through even that generation, digital ownership, digital purchases started to like proportionally go up against physical. I think like, anyway, point is it feels like when I say overreaction, it feels like they take big swings instead of like measured incremental steps to like achieve something. And this is what has happened versus something like Nintendo and Sony, who will out of the gates, they'll take like a big risk. Like Nintendo will with like, a premise on their system, but they will stick with it mostly. And if it doesn't work out, they will incrementally change paths from that and divert from that.
Plus they have a Scrooge McDuck vault full of gold that they can just rest on if they need to. Nintendo does. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's just like, I mean, again, I went to film school, so I'll use another film analogy, but like taking a movie out of a theater after a week and a half that has good word of mouth, movies used to get, they could build over time, in the theater, but now they get pulled so fast that they don't even give the movies a chance. And it feels like they don't give their ideas a chance anymore in games to like, try a thing before they just knee-jerk pivot to the other thing. Like, High Guard and all that kind of stuff just getting canceled immediately or whatever. And like, obviously there's a lot that goes into that, but like, it's just, I think there's just so many layers to this. It's capitalism. Yeah. It's huge mismanagement. It's like overpaying the wrong parts of your company, like overpaying your C-suite, underpaying your artists, like,
yeah.
To say nothing of AI, which we'll get into in a minute, but like,
we will.
Everything is just so fucking weird now. Like,
I definitely don't want. After everything that's happened over the past few years, like, even if you're like the biggest fanboy for a certain like company, the console war stuff still matters to you. Like, you need to be like everyone who is cheering all these acquisitions and mergers. No. Like, going forward, like, this is why this is bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like these studios, they would have died or something. Like, I'd rather try the what if they had just not all been gobbled up by Embracer, Microsoft, whoever the hell. Like, if Microsoft is like, Activision Blizzard should not be part of fucking Microsoft. Like, I'm sorry. I don't think ZeniMax should be part of Microsoft. Maybe like Double Fine, Ninja Theory, Arcane, like those make a little bit more sense. But like some of these things, like Ubisoft should not be bought by anyone, for crying out loud. EA should never be bought, but like stop. Like they already own enough studios. Like it needs to stop because it just leads to shit like this. Like when it's good, it feels great, but when it's bad and it's gonna go bad, it results in this bloodbaths that are like just like doom and gloom, like apocalyptic, you know what I'm trying to say? Levels of devastation.
I mean, yeah, monopolies are bad. It's weird that we live in this, theocratic, oligarch, gerontocracy, capitalist hellscape where, like, I guess monopolies are just chill now. And they're just allowed. Because it removes innovation and it removes competition and, like, it removes a lot of stuff that breeds, good things. I don't know. Whatever. I feel like we could go on and on and on about this. Yeah. Talk about it for 50 minutes.
Yeah. And yeah. And again, but the dream would be these studios can negotiate away and find a way to finance themselves to be independent. Obviously, between studio closure and getting acquired by someone else, roll the dice and do that. I know, people are saying Sony might be, Sony's been shutting down some studios too. So I don't know about. I mean, maybe I don't know, but and Nintendo doesn't really do that. They generally partner with someone. They don't generally buy out someone for full ownership. But
I mean, there's also the course of like if these companies have the money on hand. I think these companies are maybe too big to do this, but like. We've heard in the past of companies just buying themselves and like going independent, but that seems maybe a little pie in the sky for everyone here except maybe Double Fine.
Yeah. It would be nice if because Ninja Theory is British, right? And Compulsion is Canadian, right? Let me look at Compulsion.
Sounds right.
Compulsion is Montreal, Canada.
Like Swedish.
Ninja Theory is British. Yeah, British.
Oh, okay.
Cambridge, England. It'd be nice if the governments could step in there, and maybe help out with that. Because not the rest of the world.
Well, and it's interesting too because it's like obviously South of Midnight underperformed. I don't know. Psychonauts 2 sold like 1.7 million, I think. I don't know if that's profitable. I think Keeper and Kiln definitely underperformed. I'm not sure on Keeper actually, but like. I don't know how Hellblade did or Hellblade 2. So it's like I could see the logic on Microsoft's side, right? But it's like,
True.
That these aren't cash cows when you buy them. So like that's what pisses me off about this is just the lack of any possible like forethought from these people? Like they just wanted the headline because at that moment it shored up the stock price of, oh look, we acquired all this shit. Did we think it through? Not really. We just we saw a shiny thing and it was available, so we bought it. Like, obviously that's a simplification, but like that's how it feels sometimes, where it's just like a kid in a candy store saying, "Mommy, I want that truck," and getting a toy truck. And it's just like, yo, what if we like, I don't know, thought about the toy truck's children?
Yeah.
And if we want to own a toy truck, and if we're gonna play with the toy truck in 2 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, with the Ninja Theory Hellblade, like Microsoft, like the interview coming out revealing that the report coming out that revealed that they basically put the Hellblade trailer in there like market it to potential buyers for the studio
to entice future investors.
Future investors.
It's like, oh, we thought they'd have a better shot of getting acquired if they just announced a new game. It's like, maybe
for Ninja Theory, I have some redemption here because I know I was very harsh on them during the DMC days. But you know what? Capcom, if you're paying attention, because you lost so many of your core team members you lost people essential to the Devil May Cry series, and I know you have other talented people there who can take up the mantle. Maybe you could consider going back to Ninja Theory, because it seems like in the end, a lot of people thought mechanically DMC was pretty damn good. Maybe just, combine them with a different writing team or something and make more Devil May Cry games, because apparently Devil May Cry 5 is seeing highest sales in years. There's a resurgence of Devil May Cry. I don't think it's due to the show on Netflix, but for some reason, Devil May Cry is
you never know.
Yeah. And like it's the one that's kind of question marked by it with everything going on at Capcom. It's like, it was a big seller. It's a good selling series, and Ninja Theory has worked on one, and it's like this could be the redemption arc here,
That's an interesting take, yeah.
Yeah, I always root for a redemption arc with a game or a studio or something like that. Like if they come out and make like Devil May Cry 6 or something, and it's phenomenal. Like I'll gladly not that I need to, but I'll eat crow for how harsh I was to them about DMC.
Do we know what Ninja Theory was initially acquired for by Microsoft? Like, I wonder how much these companies cost.
Oh, you mean the amount?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm looking up agreement. I don't know how much. Yeah, I can go. But anyway, how much was Ninja Theory acquired for by Microsoft?
Thanks for looking that up.
It says, okay, this is the AI answer. I will check the actual source because this stupid incognito mode still fucking defaults to this. I need to change it to DuckDuck. I need to change it to DuckDuckGo instead of...
yeah, Google's cooked.
Okay, Windows Central is the source. Microsoft paid $117 million for Hellblade developer Ninja Theory to join Xbox. Money, so Windows Central, do they have a source here?
Ballpark is
the
what
FTC versus Microsoft hearing. It was in the documentation for that.
Okay,
according
it's
to
just
yes,
it's just like that's so much money, dude. Like even though obviously Activision's acquired for billions, whatever, but $117 million is so much.
Because you said ZeniMax 8.1, Bungie was bought by Sony for 3.6. Respawn Entertainment was bought by Electronic Arts for so what did I say for Bungie? 3.6 billion.
You just weren't saying million, yeah.
Oh, Bungie was 3.6 billion by Sony. Respawn Entertainment was bought by EA for 455 million, and Insomniac Games was bought by Sony for 229 million. But those are further back in time. So
I was going to say, I mean, back then, now that feels like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, Insomniac for 229 million. It seems
Insomniac paid
Sony made out pretty well with that one.
Yeah. But I mean, oh my God, whatever. We got to get off this, but it's just dude.
I mean, it's big. This is
this is huge.
This is massive. It's not over yet. There's it's probably gonna play into the next month or two.
We'll talk about this next week.
It's gonna dominate our podcast probably for the next, maybe not next week, but in the coming weeks, it'll probably be back with a vengeance.
And it just sucks too, because it's people from these teams could go and start their own, smaller shop, and that would be sick. But not everybody. there are too many people, I imagine, and all these teams. And like Double Fine does such good stuff.
I was gonna say, yeah,
with like Day of the Devs and like I Am 8-Bit and stuff, and like what's gonna happen with that? Because that's like largely sponsor based, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like all devs that are involved in that get to do it for free. They don't have to pay to be in it. Like they have to apply and be accepted. But like, I think Day of the Devs is just such a cool, like, nice way of doing that, you know, instead of scamming the devs for a bunch of money to be in your video. Like, not scamming, whatever, but like it's nice to be included, you know, and like that's all through sponsors. But how much of that is shorn up by I Am 8-Bit and Double Fine still being their own kind of entities that can, you know, do some of the stuff too. It's yeah.
Okay, DavidEz was almost entirely sponsored by groups other than Double Fine.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's all sponsorships. But like it's still time, you know, that people from Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit are using on it. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like Double Fine is such an interesting case because it's like, I mean, this is kind of true of all of these where it's like they're industry darlings. They make really interesting games that don't often make a lot of money, you know, but have a lot of artistic merit and a lot of integrity and are doing important things and tackling important issues. And like, I think that there's so much value in that. And like the industry needs that. And I had hoped that Microsoft saw that too and would allow, you know, like lose a little money to win a BAFTA. And like be able to say like, oh, our award-winning teams, you know, but they don't care. Nobody cares about art anymore, Damiani. They just want to use AI and make money. Fuck.
Back in the day, it was called patrons who used to...
Yeah. Patrons of the arts.
Like the nobility and the ruling class would commission, you know.
Yeah, like...
Not advocating for that to come back, but... Even amongst them, there was the concept of like, it's not making me any money. I'm not going to make money off like, you know,
right, but like
a painting.
But that's the thing is like, that's what our fucking rich people are supposed to be doing.
Yes, instead of investing in
I've
AI
been fortunate
in
this area, so I'm going to enrich the goddamn human race and make things better for everyone, right? Like Griffith from Griffith Park in LA tried to murder his wife. Right? Like, bad dude. But he donated a fucking park. And it was like, this has to be free for everyone. Because he felt bad about being a piece of shit his entire life or whatever. And it's like, that's what these fucking gargoyles should be doing.
They don't feel remorse. They're Terminators.
Like, yeah, because they're sociopaths.
They don't feel pity or remorse. They can't be reasoned with. They can't be bargained with. They absolutely not stop until they have all your money.
Elon Musk could solve so many problems on this planet, and instead he just wants to be
it's like
a fucking troglodyte.
I don't want to I don't want to like anger anybody, but it's like if someone like could just have like 5 minutes of Elon Musk's time who's like a good person is like, you know, there's a way for you to redeem yourself.
He's immune
like,
to hearing things.
He's like, you want to redeem yourself of all the shit you've done that's like viewed as horrible and how hated you are. You could really easily fucking do a bunch of shit that would reverse all that, and in the end would probably like make you seen as a good person and would like cement your quote if you care about that shit. But they won't even do that. They
well, he's post reality. They're all post reality. Like they don't see it.
I don't pretend to understand what's going on inside their mind, obviously. But like, obviously. Like you still it's never too late to try and like redeem yourself and do some like good with that. And they could. But he doesn't see anything.
So he doesn't see what he's doing is wrong. That's the thing.
So much good.
They don't feel like they need to be redeemed because they're not doing anything wrong.
They think what they're doing is right. They don't think, you're right.
Like that's how you write a good villain, Damiani. They think they're the hero.
Yeah.
Like Haley Atwell in Fable. Yeah. That trailer where she's like, I'm the hero. Oh, God, that's a good villain.
I hope that game comes out.
Or Killmonger, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like listening to Killmonger and you're like, you know, you're not wrong. It's just like you're going too far. Like, calm, you know. Anyway, whatever. Like Thanos.
No, Thanos was not right. Stupid. We don't need to get.
Thanos was not right. He could have made the universe twice as plentiful.
Yeah.
Just make everything more bountiful.
Good example. In his mind,
example.
he was convinced because of the trauma he experienced on his home planet.
That's why he's a good
His
villain,
mindset was
'cause he
like,
can't see
this
it.
has to happen this way.
Can't see it any other way. Yeah.
And then obviously, like, the gloves come off when he realizes, like, even when he succeeds, he fails. He's like, well, I'm actually an evil fucker. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go further.
Anyway, we're we're getting off the rails even more. All right, let's talk about the next weird, horrible thing.
I don't think it would take too long on this one. This is
We don't need to spend all day on this, but Epic has revealed that Unreal Engine 6 will integrate AI models so that devs can quote unquote reduce tedious work. I'll just read all this information real quick. The State of Unreal event happened at this week in Chicago, where Epic shared more details about Unreal Engine 6. This is mostly coming from VGC, the Video Games Chronicle, is where Sophia helped prepare this rundown. Thank you, Sophia. According to VGC, during their onstage presentation, they talked about Unreal shifting to their proprietary programming language Verse. I'm unclear if that means they're not going to use Blueprints or C++ or whatever anymore. I don't know. Making code. They also talked about making code portable and interoperable between games. Not exactly sure what that means, but you can like move chunks of, if you did a thing for this game, you can just move it to the other game, I guess. And using AI, large language models, and how that could directly be used within Unreal Engine to generate content. Epic had a live demo using Claude and said that introducing integrations with AI models such as Claude, Gemini, and others would act as quote-unquote creativity and productivity multipliers, enabling teams to, quote, focus their efforts on the essential creative and technical tasks of development rather than time-consuming manual tasks. And their goal for UE6 is to, quote, to greatly reduce the tedious work of in authoring content, to leave more time for creative exploration, and increase the amount of iterations a team can make to polish their content. In the presentation, they used Claude to furnish an apartment, which it did by pulling things from the asset library, or change lighting in a city by asking Claude to change the time of day or using a photo as a reference. Haley McLean from the Video Game Lawyer, who's also a MinMax cohort, has been doing videos and talking on Blue Sky about this. On Blue Sky, she said, AI cannot assign copyright. You will not own the things this thing makes, even if they try and assign it to you. Using this would technically be in violation of 100% of the publisher agreements I have seen. In another video, she made a good point that I watched before this podcast, saying that a publisher that was like, bad faith, whatever, like if you have a deal with a publisher and the publisher wants to get out of that deal with you, they could just look and say, oh wait, check if they used Unreal 6, and like if a single plank of wood was used, they could claim that you didn't author that content, which is in violation of their publisher's agreement, and cut ties with you. Like it's all that would take, and obviously, like, she's a lawyer. Like, she reads publisher agreements for a living, so she knows what she's talking about. It is just kind of nuts, and it's kind of annoying, this whole thing, to me. And obviously, like, we here at Easy Allies are not fans of AI. I don't know if you've gotten that impression or not. We don't generally support it. We think it is largely not great. It's, theft most of the time, and being used on things it shouldn't be used on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw someone in the comments point out, like, we just spent this time in the past topic complaining about devs and costs, and like, is AI really going to be that bad and stuff? And it's like, currently in the current landscape, it's apparently not saving as much time. It's like, not, apparently it's not as cost effective, with everyone finding out the actual cost of using AI right now. Whenever it's not free anymore and people have to pay their rates and shit,
Right.
Token
Intelligence on a meter like that.
Yeah. It's like now the bill is coming due for this. And so, from a cost,
always comes due.
From a cost perspective, it might not be viable, but more importantly than any of that, because that's like those are financial concerns, is the environmental concerns. This shit is like one of the most devastating forces right now. And if you're just a human being, if you have the pleasure of living next to any kind of data center, to describe it, I don't, but watching the many videos and having driven by the damn one in Austin, Texas, from fucking Tesla, or whatever the fuck that giant massive compound is. It's like driving by an airport where the plane's taking off and never takes off. It's just like that fucking noise fucking stop. It was like 2 miles of it. I was like, what in the fuck? Middle of the day. I was like, oh, and it doesn't stop. It's all hours. So like, inconvenience.
And I mean, obviously being placed in places like intentionally.
Yes.
Taking advantage of, places that are already disenfranchised or vulnerable neighborhoods and stuff. It's just it's shady across the board, dude.
Yeah,
it's gnarly.
Local municipalities, local governments, they're basically, even when people vote against it, the cities are just cutting deals with the data center companies to put them there anyway, bypassing will of the people. It's supposed to be the whole thing in this country. Nope.
Apparently, a long time ago.
Apparently not. Yeah. I'm sorry, being facetious here a little bit. But yes,
they gerrymandered out the will of the people.
They will just do it anyway. And it's noise concern, water concern, pollution concern. It's just absolutely devastating. And we haven't built all the ones they want to even built. A lot of them have been thwarted, have been stopped, have been delayed. And so from an environmental standpoint, we don't even know how bad is it going to be if it all comes to pass. Financial things, is it really going to be even better for businesses? Is it, snake oil, or is it actually going to do something? There are some fields where it is shown like it is doing something positive and improving. There's just as many where it's not cost effective, at least not yet. And then on top, the theft stuff, you've talked about how it's been trained, has even been all these models for generative models, have they even been, and LLMs, have they even been trained, ethically? And, there's another thing, a big thing I just forgot of that I was going to say, but there's another big problem I can't remember. That's also a thing.
Morals, ethics.
Oh yeah, morals and ethics.
Artistic integrity.
Yeah, those are very important to people. And the fact that generative stuff, this feels currently feels soulless because that's why when you look at it, you kind of just instinctively say, there's something off about this. And it's also trashing everything else, because now when you see something that even looks remotely close to it, you start questioning everything now, and
it's a double-edged sword, because it's disingenuous and lazy on the one hand, and then it makes you doubt things that are actual as being false, right? It's eroding the sanctity of reality, dude. Across the board, it is fucked.
So to bring it back to this, you can see why, understandably, people are like, "What the hell?" Epic. What are you doing with Unreal Engine? Especially when you saw even another, to throw more shade at Microsoft, their whole Copilot shit, that they're starting to back off of that because they're seeing it's no one wants this shit. Even when you force it on us, we get angrier and we find ever increasingly clever ways to pull it out and extract it from Windows or whatever the hell, or your Teams or whatever the hell you're using. Yeah. We don't want that shit. Or browsers. It's why people are getting rid of Chrome and going to Firefox, or at least Mozilla spinoffs, or Safari or whatever. They're going to something else because I don't want these I don't want Gemini. I don't want these dumb tools in there.
I don't want any of this stuff.
Yeah. So it's just,
let me opt out of it.
Yeah. So you can see, and as we saw, I can't pronounce their name. Is it Ponkel or Ponsel? The developers of Vampire.
I think it's Ponkel, but I'm not
sure. Developers of Vampire Survivors, Vampire Crawlers said they are reviewing their collaboration with Fortnite in wake of this revelation, which probably means we're legally trying to see if we can get the hell out of this, because, we want nothing to do with this. And honestly, I understand probably a lot of people rely on Unreal Engine. It's very, probably has a lot of great uses and benefits. But this is also why I'm so happy we have things like RE Engine and other proprietary engines are still a thing. And studios some studios are definitely thriving with their own engines. And hopefully, I'm glad Unreal just monopolize and take over everything. This is, it warms my heart when I see another engine come around. I know there've been some stumbles in the past, not Square Enix, but generally engines have been, they've done good for a lot of these companies and have not been a point of like, pressure, for like delays or
Plus,
something
they
like
can
that.
keep all the profits, Damiani.
Yeah. Like
in-house engine, you don't have to pay a cut.
Re-engine, however you actually pronounce it, like it's fantastic. Might not be the best
for the moon engine.
Might not be best for open world games, but like it's definitely like works for Resident Evil, Street Fighter, and other like smaller scale, games.
Yeah, I mean, well said. This whole thing is just so. Everything is just so. Like, and I just think about. I listen to teachers, right, that teach younger students now in college or high school and whatever, and it's like a friend of mine was telling me that she was looking over like portfolios of students coming out of a program, and she was like, oh, okay, cool, you just started on your portfolio, and they're like, no, this is my senior final portfolio, and she's like, this is 4 years of work, like you haven't done anything, like this is nothing, like you've barely begun, like this is not a thing, or like. I saw a video of like a judge reaming out this lawyer because like every single case that they quoted was just fake.
Wasn't it
just
both?
Made up.
Wasn't it both the prosecution and defense got chewed out?
Well, and then the judge was like, and you, the other lawyer, like, why didn't you catch any of this? Like, and both of the lawyers couldn't even like articulate what had happened because they didn't know. It's like watching Wall-E. Like, Sam Altman and these guys just want Wall-E to happen. They want everyone to just not think. And like, to me, this is different. Like, because people will be like, oh, well, we all have phones. Like, we all use calculators, blah, blah, blah. And like, even as kids and like, when I was in calculus class, I was like, I'm not going to need this. Like, I'm never going to use this. I don't understand what it's for, right? Whereas Jason loves calculus. But like, I knew in every math class I've ever been in, I'm always going to have a calculator to do stuff, right? And like any math I need to do, in filmmaking and editing, there's a lot of math. You have to understand time, and you have to understand like frames per second and all that kind of stuff. I can do that math with a calculator. But like, to me, I think like using that kind of a tool is different than when people say AI is a tool, because it's like, my calculator is not thinking for me. It's doing a little bit of the math for me, but it's not doing any critical thinking. It's not doing any analysis. It's not doing any moral, artistic thought for me. And it's not stealing numbers from an artist on Instagram. Like, it's just math. Whereas, like, telling Claude to put a bunch of couches in an apartment building and then, like, going like, I don't like where that couch is, actually, and moving it 3 pixels to the right. Like, that's not... You're not doing anything. You're a fucking meat puppet. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry, I get really mad about this.
Like,
I think AI is so devoid of any worth, and it's actively harming humanity.
And I also
and fucking rotting everyone's brains and making everyone dumber, thinking less critically, and doing less artistic things for themselves. All of that is bad.
Yeah. And on the flip side, like there are, I would say there probably are very good uses of AI, but they're gonna get drowned out by all these terrible uses of it, like for like the healthcare, like using AI to maybe like faster and like analyze someone's like condition or something like that by reviewing multiple things and catching patterns. I mean,
analyzing the stars, going through like 20 gigabytes of data every day.
Yeah.
Like an AI model can do that because it can spot the differences.
Scientific discovery, like climate change mitigation. Like there are
studying data.
Yeah.
Like going through the numbers, then feeding it to a person to like evaluate. Sure, potential good use for that.
But like,
painting something in the style of Van Gogh is not necessary.
Yeah.
Also, you forget like the whole point of human expression. Like, let's not even get into fucking AI music creation. Like, or that quote that's been going around where it's like, if you use AI to write your thing, you don't want to be a writer. You're not a writer, and you don't want to be a writer. Like, the agony of doing the writing is part of it. Like, and it's a great part of it. the suffering that you have to do to like, and it's not even suffering's not even the right word. Like there's an exquisite pain in creation and in learning something. And like I own so many instruments that I don't really know how to use, right? But I can also still run a bow across my toggle harpa and get a weird sound, sample it, and like create a synth out of it, you know, myself by manipulating those recordings and those sounds. And like I wouldn't have found that if I hadn't tried it, you know? If I hadn't failed to learn this instrument or that other instrument, or like this program or that other program, I wouldn't have thought of a different thing that I thought of, right? And it's just like, you can't fake that. Piss.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like I still know it feels like doom and gloom. Everyone says like it's inevitable. Like AI is here.
It's not.
Never leaving.
It's not inevitable.
And like I feel like no. Yeah. Part of me is also like I know I've been part of that too, and it's like no. Maybe it isn't. Maybe they want everyone to feel like this way, so there's less.
It's like what Huber says. Who benefits, right?
Yeah.
Like look at it. Look at the people who are telling you it's inevitable. It's the motherfuckers selling it. You know, like, oh, I'm a bullet salesman. You getting shot in the knees is inevitable. Buy these bullets. They go into the knees a lot easier, and it'll hurt 20% less. Like, it's bullshit. It's not inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, will be interesting to see if at some point after UE6 comes out, they pivot away from like, they're still there, but we're not really pushing those as like our biggest, we're not pushing the AI tools anymore as like our biggest things. In fact, we'll give you versions that don't have any of that in there, just be like,
to me, it's just another thing in a list of things that are cooked. Like, whatever. Time to learn Godot, I guess. Unreal Engine 6 aims for early access toward the end of 2027 and plans to release a year or a year and a half after that. So
we got some time.
They got some time.
They're waiting for the RAM prices to come down.
They got some time to pivot
Yeah, right.
on what people think on this.
Yeah.
All right. Social pitch time. 1, 26,
2,
40. We've got more to come, but if you've been enjoying this show so far, please take a second to like and subscribe and ring that bell on YouTube. It helps us a lot and it helps you stay connected. Also, please leave a review on where you are listening. If it's a good review, if it's not a good review, don't do it. Don't judge it by this episode. Most of our episodes involve more people and a little less screaming about AI and corporations. Just a little bit. Still some, but not quite as much. And now a word from our sponsors. Thanks to our sponsor, Shopify. If you've got a business idea that you've been sitting on, today is the day to start. Starting a business is freaky stuff, but it's doable. But you don't have to do it alone. I run a couple of businesses, and it's really important to have help. Shopify can be that help. Shopify is where you go to start your business with everything you need already there from day one. Shopify can help you every step of the way, from setting up with templates to social media to growing your brand, including the moment your first customer is ready to pay. Shopify Checkout helps more of them finish their purchase. And when they come back, their details are already saved. One tap and they're done. Because Shopify handles the setup and checkout, you have more time to focus on doing the fun parts of your business, like creating the art or the podcasts or the whatever you sell, instead of the annoying back-end stuff that can really be a drag. And then also you'll have more time for that work-life balance I keep hearing about. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to small businesses just getting started. Hey, if it's good enough for Barbie, it's good enough for you. With Shopify, nothing stands between your idea and a real business. So get out there and make a business. I bet you've got some cool ideas, and Shopify can help you get them done. Go make a business. Start your free trial at shopify.com/allies. Once again, that is a free trial. Shopify.com/allies. shopify.com/allies. Go to shopify.com/allies today. And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you.
That's why.
All right.
You mentioned when you said Jason, you meant Jason Wishnoff, right? When
Jason Wishnoff.
I need to try.
You thought Jason Schreier?
No, I'm pretty sure. I was just double checking because it reminded me real quick. I need to send him a video of a thing about video game competitive balance in video games. Someone put out a new video. I liked watching them, and they were trying to argue what's the difference between game balancing and like sports and chess. Like they use chess as an example of like something that's never been patched, really been around for 1,500 years, and like you still
not
see
a completely solved game.
And yeah, like even though like it's been the most studied game of like every like as many moves out, like more than any video game for its meta, it's still like at high level, like you still can't just. Anyway, I wanted to get their thoughts on it because I'm kind of curious. But also a part like, is it true that there's never been patch notes for chess in 1,500 years?
I think that is not true because like they added. Didn't they add en passant?
I
like,
thought
they've
that
changed the rules. I think they have been patches.
Okay.
Jason would correct this. I could text.
But
him
also,
and
like,
see,
it's very technical in some chess stuff, discussion about like studies. I want to see like how if that makes Jason, pretty giddy with excitement, or if they're like, nah, this is pretty casual surface level shit.
I don't know if he gets my text if I text him through my computer or not, but
Chess deals.
Anyway, Pawn Storm was that a patch? Tell us about where you at in My One Piece. Damiani's My One Piece.
Yes. So in the land of Wano, the land of samurai, the crew has arrived. Okay. So this is the land of samurai, and we've learned this tragic backstory, how this kingdom was once a thriving place, but it's essentially Japan. They've been like isolated from the rest of the world, so it's very difficult to get in there. They're not even represented by the world government. Like world government can't go there. Like no one's supposed to go there. It's just their own place. But then one day, this dude, one of the Emperor of the Seas, Kaido, and this kind of scheming bad dude named Orochi like weasel their way in and become like they take over basically. They overthrow the ruling party of the country. They take it over and they transform this beautiful country into this like industrialized like toxic wasteland of a place where people are suffering, although like a select group of people who live in the capital live very like nice lives, but it's also a little bit deceptive because the fruit, the devil fruits from Dressrosa that Doflamingo was manufacturing, his deal with Kaido back then, and like what was going on with Caesar and Punk Hazard, and like all this finally comes full circle as we find out why they're called smile fruits, because the artificial ones only work 10% of the time in giving someone a devil fruit power. They more often have negative side effects. And the
that drug from the Max Payne movie.
And the most negative side effect makes people that lose their ability to express emotion other than they can only laugh. They cannot, even when they're sad, when they're hurting.
Like Smilex by the Joker.
Yes, that's exactly probably where they got it from. And so there's a scene they reveal where like someone like is suffering and everyone's laughing, and like Zoro gets like pissed. He's like, "Why is everyone laughing?" And someone has to pull him aside and explain, this is the true like tragic tale of this country. Like some people do get the powers, but like a lot of people don't, and it's like, oh man, like good revelation there. But Luffy tried to fight Kaido. He, like some of the crew had been there. They'd gotten there earlier. So previous arc was a Whole Cake Island, Big Mom. So half the crew was basically there. The other half went ahead to Wano. And you meet up with them and see them living their daily lives, trying to blend in, working with the resistance behind the scenes to try and come up with this great plan to overthrow Kaido and free the land of Wano. But Luffy being Luffy, he does what he wants to do. He strolls in there, sees some injustices happening, especially this little girl named Atama, and cannot stand by her like suffering. She's starving. He goes to a place where they have food, and he like sees that like they're wasting it, and he like goes ballistic, starts picking fights, draws the attention of everybody, and eventually culminates with him getting into a fight with like Kaido, who's a giant dragon and shit. But like Luffy starts like beating the shit out of him. I'm like, wait, wow, like, whoa. But then, of course, as always happens, Kaido has another form, wrecks Luffy. Luffy looks like he's killed, not knocked out. He's imprisoned, and now he's in like he's like doing hard labor as a miner now. And you find out that also almost all of the worst generation of pirates, like Luffy's generation of pirates, they're all somehow on Wano. Some of them are working under Kaido. Some of them are there as prisoners. Captain Kidd is one of them. But like Drake and Hawkins, who were in a previous arc, are working under Kaido now. It's like, everyone's kind of here. What's like going on? Is everyone really going, what's really going on? And then, we get the true backstory. So I told you how the country is overthrown. We get the story of Lord Odin. Oh my gosh. Okay. Odin and Kinemon's master, basically. He's one of the samurai, these 9 samurai who were the retainers for Lord Odin. And you find out this freaking backstory about Odin and what he did to try and he sailed the seas. Dude, this guy had it was the Forrest Gump of One Piece, man. He freaking went with Whitebeard. He wants to leave Wano, and then his father thinks he's a failure and stuff and gets angry with him and basically okay, I'm stripping you of all your stuff. Go out on your own. And then he makes something of himself and becomes he's the daimyo. He's gonna be in charge of one of the regions, but then he finds Whitebeard crashed on his crew shipwrecked on the beach. He's like, no, take me. He goes on a giant adventure with Whitebeard, and then he meets Gold Roger, and then Gold Roger takes him, and they all of the Gold Roger's the head honcho. This is the person who did has the One Piece, hit it and all that. This is all the legends are based off him. He apparently went with him, saw everything, knows all the truths of everything. It's wait, what? This all happened 20, 30 years in the past, but we get a flashback seeing all this shit. I'm like, dude, and it's you start seeing other characters and from the land of Zoe, the cat and dog, cat viper and the dog guy who was the leader there. You see that they were part of you start seeing the pieces fit in, and I'm like, shit, are they just gonna reveal everything? I was like, dude, this is they're going to the final island. We're gonna see it. I'm like, no, they can't, because there's still 100 episodes. This can't be the end. This shit has been I had a really good time with that. I've purposely not focused on this all the side the other Straw Hat crew members, side characters. We can talk about that next week about what they've been doing specifically,
because they're still split up.
Because there's some of them some of their working daily lives, but they're still in contact with each other. But they have to be secretive about they use these symbols to communicate the sign of the rebellion, basically, right. And where the rebellion, the day that they're gonna plot their coup d'etat to overthrow Kaido, they're plotting that as well. But also Luffy is trying to learn a new power in prison. He's trying to find a way to use his abilities, his haki, without making physical contact. Because he believes he's learning something. I forget what it's called. It starts with an R, Rio or something. It's a new form of energy that when you attack someone from the inside. You destroy them. You destroy them from the inside, and it's oh my god! I was like, what is this shit? And but he's failing miserably.
That's blood bending. That shit blew my mind.
It's that level, but he can't do it. He's trying so hard, and he cannot. He cannot figure it out. And he's in a training arc right now trying to figure it out, but he's constantly failing, which is what happened in the previous one when he was trying to learn how to predict the future with his observation haki. So he's barely a slow learner, but I'm what's gonna happen when he finally learns this? Oh god,
he'll obliterate somebody's soul.
I'm is there a fifth gear? Because fourth gear is 2 forms of fourth gear. We haven't seen anything beyond that yet. I'm I'm forgetting so much. I don't want to, like, we spent enough time on this for this week. I'll indulge you all next week. But like, yes, no, the final thing, because you want to know what I did, chat. I marathon the shit of this because I've been kind of deceptive. I've been purposely talking about a little bit behind where I'm actually at each week.
What?
Because I don't want anyone to think I'm watching too much One Piece. But but last night,
that ship has sailed.
last night, episode 1000, and the opening they did. I know I'm 4 years late. But I saw that, I was like, oh, they're just doing those same, I was like, they redid the original opening of One Piece and like made it modern with like all the characters as they currently are. And I was like, and then I went and watched a bunch of reaction videos. I'm like, I gotta see people have been watching this for 20 years though. How did they feel? Because like, that was pretty awesome. But I'm like, there were probably freaking tears, man. I'm like, okay, so holy shit, that was like, what a way to honor like 1,000 episodes of that. But yeah, so if you want to know exactly where I'm at, they've begun the invasion. They're invading the Kaido's castle. Like shit's going down left and right. Other characters are showing up like out of nowhere. I'm like, oh shit, we got like some stakes here. Holy crap! Like I will. When next week or 2 weeks or whatever, I might take a next week off from recapping. But when I get to the end, maybe it's like 80 more episodes still. Maybe not. We'll see. I'll keep you up on it. That's an insane thing. There's still freaking 80. You know what happened? Crunchyroll app put a pop-up on my thing, goes, congratulations, you're an anime titan. You've watched 100 plus episodes. I'm like, in a month or something. I'm like,
Anime titan.
You're like, you watch more than most everyone. I'm like, just One Piece, right?
That's not something you want to hear from Crunchyroll.
Okay, anyway.
I looked it up, Damiani. Do you want to know how much time it takes of real life time to watch all of One Piece?
Oh, sure. Keep in mind, I repetitive intro. After I watch a new intro for the first time, I skip that. I skip the recap and I skip the credits. The coming next episode.
So this is a little, it'll be.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is with everything, but it's 19.2 days of content, 460 something hours of content.
Say it again.
19.25 days.
Damn, I'm an amateur. I could have watched this all in 20 days.
You could have watched it in 20 days. That's without breaks. That's no sleeping, no breaks.
I started this, in September, I think, of last year. So we're coming up. Like, we got the rest of June, July, August. I'm like 3 months away from spending a year of watching One Piece. Like, that's how long it takes to watch this whole series. 1 year of just watching this. Like, holy shit.
I think that's a healthy pace, honestly.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Thank you for that, Damiani. My one thing, En Passant was, in fact, a patch.
Okay.
Jason got back to us on that.
Okay.
En Passant was a patch.
All right.
So chess has been patched.
Okay. 1,500 years, one patch.
Maybe more than one, but yeah, that was at least one example of a patch. Because I think we've asked him this in the past, actually. But I beat Call of the Sea the other day. Cool game. Really enjoyed that. There's a sequel out now, and Sophia and I wanted to play it, but I hadn't finished the first one. So that was cool. Widow's Bay finale was cool.
Oh.
Yeah. Check it out. All right. Next up, games. One this time, and it's a very brief one. I've checked out the demo for Stronghold 4.
Stronghold.
Sorry. Yeah, Stronghold 4. Not Stranglehold.
I was like, sorry.
I'm a huge Stronghold fan. I really love mostly Crusader and
it's
Castle Builder.
Got it.
Yeah, but Stronghold 4 demo coming out, I think, on June 23rd. They sent it to me early because they know I love Stronghold, and I asked if I could talk about it, and they said yes. So I did. The demo has an economic part of the demo and a warfare part of the demo. I've done the economic part of the demo so far. and it's really good. The castle building felt right. Obviously, it's a demo, so you're limited to just wood. You can't
no stone
mine for stone yet, or iron, or any of that. So it's like obviously you're limited in what you could build in that part of the demo. Maybe the Warfare one gets into siege machines and stuff, because I know this game has that. But it felt right, dude. It felt right. They don't seem to be overcomplicating it or doing anything silly. And the way it starts, I guess it's like a prequel, maybe.
Oh.
But the way it starts is one of the characters, the older guy with the white beard and the
white beard,
silver armor on. He's like walking over a hill, and he's like, I'm back from a long campaign. I can't wait to see my beautiful home, my beautiful estate. And he comes over a hill, and it's on fire.
No, just like Robin Hood.
Yeah, the castle's missing. Blinken, what happened? Anyway, and then the little guy who holds the book in the corner of the UI just shows up, and he's like, it looks great, my lord, and he looks exactly the same. And the Stronghold heads will know what I'm talking about.
I see the book guy, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for it to come out. Hopefully it's good. It seems like a return to form, hopefully. I just want to make castles, And like the wall building was good. The archers and stuff, everything felt right. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
Seems pretty cool. Can you walk around like individually? Like I know you could like camera zoom and then pan around.
You can zoom in really far.
Can you like take control of a character and when your castle's done? Okay, no, that's fine.
I don't think so. If that feature exists, it hasn't so far, but
sorry, like so. In a castle
you can move
builder,
your king around,
as a castle builder,
but
being able to go like in like first person, just like look around at
that
everything and be like, look at my castle,
and watch the walls come down. No,
I think when you're getting attacked.
Aren't rendering the graphics in that way, so I don't think it would really work, but who knows.
Sorry, the last question. When you're being besieged, like how does like do you know how like if you don't know in this one, in previous ones, like how is that like initiated? Like is it just like over a certain time when your castle gets like big enough, like they'll start showing up, or
it depends who you're facing. Like the game has several opponents like traditionally built in, and some of them are more aggressive and some of them are timid.
So they're determined at the start when you like start building.
Yeah, you can if you're doing like a custom skirmish or whatever, you can choose who you're up against. Like the wolf is very aggressive, the sultan just kind of like turtles, and they have like kind of hilarious, kind of primitive AIs where it's like the one who turtles will just build like super thick walls and make like a kind of shitty castle. It'll tell you like how good they are at economy and military, because those are kind of the two pillars of the game. So like the best opponent is really good at both, where it's like they can run a good economy and they're good at having an army. So theoretically, you need to be good at both to face people.
Can you win by just through economic means? Is that
not historically?
Okay.
I think you have to win by acing the other.
Can you starve them out by robbing them of supplies? Like
maybe
food?
In this one you can.
Okay.
You could hurl cows over the wall and make everybody sick.
Okay.
Which is fun. I love them.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's a narrative prequel.
There you go.
Yeah, narrative prequel. But I'm really excited for it. I hope it's good. Who knows? Early days on just a demo, but we'll see. All right, it is time for love and respect. Love and respect. First up, pet rent. Not pent. Pet rent is so dumb.
Wait.
What, Damiani?
Sorry, I'm doing a Huber. I'm review of Stronghold 4. Stronghold is
4,
back in earnest with Ben Starr taking up the mantle to boot.
Yeah, Ben Starr and Samantha Barrett were in the trailer. That we saw. I'm not sure who they're voicing, but they're in it apparently.
Sorry. And then the next review is, I played the first Stronghold at school on my father's laptop. Today, I can present the fourth one to you. Feels a bit surreal.
That's what Ben Starr said?
That's the review. No, someone's review on the Steam page.
I love that. I love that.
Okay, that's pretty good. Sorry. Okay.
But yeah, the demo's coming soon for that. All right, pet rent is so dumb. Allies. This is kind of random, but when I'm shopping and if there's a Hot Wheels section, I always stop and look through them. This is why I gave that Hot Wheels example earlier. I think. Not sure why I do this, but I guess it's because I did it once before and found the Homer from The Simpsons, the crazy car that he made.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the only Hot Wheels item I have. Do the Allies have any strange shopping habits? Like, are you compelled to buy Catcher in the Rye, like that character from Conspiracy Theory?
No, maybe not. Okay, this isn't necessarily shopping, but every day when I go to Panera to get my drink, I have like a little ritual that I do. So I will. Speaking of which, they have I'm not saying anything. I don't want people to drink it up and make it out of stock. When I get my beverage of choice there, I fill it up to near the top, put on the lid and straw, and I take a decent sized sip because I have been trained in the old days of Panera Sip Club when it was just they had regular iced tea there, unsweet tea. I wanted to make sure it wasn't like a bad batch where it's like, ooh, it's like a little stale.
Sometimes fountain tea can get real
So
nasty.
I still do that. It's in a bubbler, so like it probably will not have that problem, but I take a sip just like, it's just instinctive now. I take it, nod, I'm like, okay, good. Pull off the lid, top it off, just the tiny amount that my sip took up, I will top it back off and then leave. And I do that every single time I go there.
You said the Panera Sip Club? Is this a thing? Like if you have a cup, you get to go in?
No, it's not that. It's something else.
Oh.
It's
some weird
It's a
thing?
subscription-based drink thing.
Is this real?
Yeah, it's real. Just don't go to my location and drink up all the drink that I like, because they had to phase out one of the ones I really liked because it was getting too high of demand, and they phased it out, and it's never coming back.
Was it that lemonade that killed people?
No,
that?
They changed that. There was a pomegranate hibiscus tea, unsweetened tea. And the demand for it was too high that they phased it out across the country, and they brought in a new flavor. Hopefully this new flavor is something they can keep in stock a little bit more easily, because I guess the pomegranate part was a little difficult. Anyway.
The hibiscus makes me drunk. Fun fact.
Oh.
Can't drink hibiscus. Not fun drunk. Otherwise, I would drink hibiscus. It makes me like dizzy. I don't know. It's weird.
No, you pay a monthly fee, and every 2 hours you can get a drink from them, basically, if you want to.
Is this real?
Yes.
Why don't you just make tea at home?
Because for the price of what I pay and how much I get, you don't want to know. They used to show me how much I saved by using it. Let me just say, at the end of last year, it was in the thousands of dollars.
Hell yeah, then. Great deal. I have to point out that the cup you sipped from while telling this story was a Raising Cane's cup, not
so that's
Panera Bread cup.
Yeah, that's because like the naked tenders I told you about, they have the healthy version and the coleslaw. I have to buy a combo still because it's cheaper than buying everything piecemeal there. Cane's pricing kind of sucks. I will say that. They're a little expensive and they're a little ridiculous for the individual pricing. Like, you need to buy the combos. Combo comes with a drink. I just fill it up with unsweet tea and save it,
Yeah, you could just get tea leaves. It's mostly water. It's whatever. I love this, Damiani. I love this. My weird shopping habits, lack of restraint, probably. I don't know. I have a lot of synthesizers. I haven't bought a synth in a long time. Well, no, I got one the other day, but it's been a minute. Whatever. Panera's Game Pass. Yeah. I don't know if I have any of these where it's like if I see something I have to buy it. I impulse buy books pretty regularly.
Okay.
But like
Mine's
poetry and stuff. I buy like poetry and
okay.
stuff that's like interesting formatting in a book, something that you couldn't listen to as an audiobook. Because I prefer, like with just long form fiction, I prefer listening. in the car and stuff. But if it's like strange buildings or whatever, it's like, okay, this has like layout stuff or art stuff in it that you have to see. But
20 years ago, at every anime convention I went to, I'd have to buy like anime wall scrolls. I was obsessed with those. Not anymore.
Wall scrolls are big.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sophia would know all the things I waste money on. Takeout. I should stop.
That is a big one. Yeah. Be careful with that.
Yeah. Next up, Chris Irely. 152. Sorry, I have to write all the numbers down too. Greetings, allies. I was curious if any of you ever had a video game crush. Lara Croft. So many. We'll get into it. Either now or in the past. It seems everyone typically has a celebrity crush. But what video game characters have you had a crush on? For me, it's Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, a classic for many. Yeah. At the time when FF7 came out, my teenage pubescent days were in full swing, so her obvious physical attributes were something I had a thing for. Yeah. She's got a great personality. As the years have gone on and I have matured, she still sticks with me, but not just because of her attractiveness. I feel like all the spin-offs, sequels, and remakes, they have really developed her character a lot more. Is that just her looks with a personality and character depth that I really vibe with? As more than just her looks, she has a personality and character depth that I really vibe with. So what say you allies? Do you have a crush on somebody in video game classics characters? Or is there someone who typically falls out of the usual subjects that tickles your fancy? Love and respect, Chris Irely. Oh, yeah. Zoe from SSX Tricky was good. So many, dude, probably. Yeah. Lara Croft was big back in the day. I remember it was big. It was a big day. It was a big day at school when Tomb Raider 3 or whichever one, when her boobs got round. We were all like, holy cow, we've done it. Video games have arrived. The technology is here.
The Zero Suit Samus, seeing that for the first time, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Who else? I mean, Tifa and Aerith. Definitely go.
Tifa and Aerith were big.
Yeah.
There's a girl in Suikoden 2 who's like the rebellion leader in the beginning who I thought was very cool.
Because we'll be curious how she's going to look in the remake. And Ocarina of Time, adult Malin at the redhead ranch girl. I used to piss off because people used to like ship and stuff, and I had an ex who was like hardcore like Link Zelda only, and anytime I mentioned I thought Link would ended up with Malin, they would get actually angry with me. I was like, oh, okay, we'll just keep quiet about that.
Midna's true form. I remember being like, whoa.
Yeah, I knew a cosplayer who did Midna adult form, and we were friends and stuff. And she's like, I'm catching you staring at me quite a bit. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. She was teasing me. She goes, oh, everyone is staring at me. Don't worry. I'm like, I'm okay.
Oh, sweet Damiani. Yeah, there are a lot, I suppose.
Yeah, there's definitely other Final Fantasy ones. I feel like there's a bunch and several and a few different RPGs that I'm just forgetting right now that I just can't remember.
I feel like there's one from an FMV game as a kid that I liked, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I know I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I
mean, few from
I've had crushes. I've had so many video game crushes, I've forgotten them all. I've forgotten more video game crushes than a kid your age could ever have. Thanks for that question. That was good. Mistwalker says, hello, allies. With Ocarina of Time remake now a reality, the internet has done what the internet does best. Argue about what kind of remake it is, a la a completely new game like Resident Evil remakes, or a more cleaned up visual overhaul of the original game like Shadow of the Colossus. I personally would love an RE style remake and potentially adding in some of the cut dungeons, even if they were used in Wind Waker. What style of remake do the allies hope we are getting? And if you want stuff added, what would you like to see added? Before Damiani goes off on this, I will briefly say that I wouldn't expect too much from Nintendo. It'll probably just be a reskin, but who knows? And also, for me, having never played Ocarina of Time, I just hope that it is a faithful recreation that I can enjoy in a modern setting. Okay, Damiani, go.
Yeah, well, we sort of talked about this whenever the direct happened the week after, the podcast after, I brought up like questions about what it's actually going to be. So I don't want to like retread too much. I do feel pretty strongly that it's not going to be like an open air Zelda. It's not going to be like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, where you can climb any surface. I don't think that would kind of be a completely different game. I mean, I don't know how to. I'm trying to think of an analogy for like Final Fantasy Remake or something that would be comparable, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it's that's too drastic of a change in my opinion. Like that would just be like we're just making a new game and calling it Ocarina of Time at this point. I do hope that the world feels a little bit more seamless, though. I do think it doesn't need like things can more naturally flow into each other instead of like approaching a barrier that like Link loads, like walks into fades out as he walks away. I do think it'd be nicer like making environments a little bit bigger, a little bit more dense, possibly. I look forward to like Hyrule Castle Town. I said this before, being rendered completely like in 3D and not being a pre-rendered background anymore. Same with the Temple of Time entrance. But also like dungeons. I don't think any of the dungeons are gonna be close to one in design. I think there'll be some similarities. Like the Great Deku Tree will probably have like its central kind of corridor thing again. But I think puzzle wise, I think they're gonna redo everything in terms of like dungeon design, in terms of like puzzles and like general layout. Because Ocarina of Time it's definitely you could call, some people might call it timeless. I think it is like a product of its time in terms of like a lot of block puzzles, a lot of like kill the enemies. It's like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. They introduced like physics-based puzzles and stuff like that. I think they might go in between that, like and like maybe not over rely on like physics-based puzzles, but have something more than just straight pushing blocks and stepping on switches. I think they will feel similar, but I don't think they'll be like literally one-to-one. Like the way I solve this puzzle here is not always going to be the same way you're going to solve it in the remake. I think they'll have some that maybe are similar, but I think others might be a little bit different because I think that is, that's what I would hope. Because I don't want to like walk through and be like, I literally don't like Link's Awakening Switch had a tiny bit of that. A lot of it was very one-to-one, but there were a few things they did change up in certain puzzles. Like they had like certain small nuanced changes to them, and that was just for a straight one-to-one, almost like port. So I expect some kind of changes with that, and I am curious about like interface, like the item management, like equipping the boots. A lot of people are like the hottest topic is going to be the water temple. Sorry for dungeons. Yeah, that is one where people are going to swear like, God damn it, make everybody suffer like I suffered, and then people are like, no, change it. You already changed it in Ocarina of Time 3D. They made it easier to understand what you need to do, and people thought that went too far. So it's like, that's going to be a hot topic for sure.
I had to pay for college. Why should these kids get a free ride?
Combat. Sorry, last thing. Movement and general combat flow. Ocarina of Time is a very I want to say 16 directional movement game. It's 3D, but like the N64 analog stick, it's because you don't have a true second analog camera movement, which I'm gotta believe this is gonna absolutely have second analog for free camera movement. It'll be wild if it doesn't. They're going to have to change how Link moves because of that. He's going to move a little bit different. I think even through Wind Waker and even partially Skyward Sword, Link's movement isn't truly fluid in 3D. Like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom felt felt more fluid and dynamic. I'm hoping they lean a little bit more on that in terms. So that's also why I think some things might have to be redesigned because everything was very 90-degree angular about jumps, held Z target to face straight, jump over a straight thing. thing. Like maybe something diagonal. You didn't do like a lot of curve stuff. Like even there was a part in the fire temple where you like hit a switch, run up a narrow, like supposed to be circular path, but it looks like jaggies because it's like it's rectangles pieced together. They're gonna have to like make movement feel a little bit smoother in that game. And I also think like combat might change because of that as well. Like it might get a little bit more refined.
Do it like the Demon Souls remake, where it changed it from 8 direction rolling to more, or from 4 to 8, whatever it was.
Yeah.
All right, bonus one, because there's only 2 of us, so I thought that might be nice. And also, if you submitted, thanks for all the submissions. We got a good number of Love and Respect submissions. Some of them are games, which felt like we would want more people for that, and a few of them were directed at specific people. So maybe resubmit those next time, and we will try to get more in there. But yeah, thank you for engaging in the Love and Respect. And if you want to get in there, patreon.com/. Last one here of the public questions from Mo Grant, patron saint of Mike and Mike, Hot Mikes, whatever it was. Hey, allies, over the past weekend, something incredible happened, something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. The New York Knicks won their first NBA championship in 53 years. The recordings of New York going crazy were so fun.
Yep.
Not only that, but they won it in spectacular fashion in a final series versus the Spurs, where they pulled off a comeback in each game with their 4 wins, including a 29-point comeback in Game 4, the biggest in NBA history. While riding this high of this amazing win, I wanted to ask, what are some of your favorite video game comebacks? These can either be in-game comebacks pulled off by the characters or the comeback of a game series or a game developer/publisher. For example, gotta shout out the turnaround that Capcom pulled off, starting with Monster Hunter World DMC5 and RE7. Yeah. And one of my favorite in-game comebacks is probably Final Fantasy VI after the events of the Floating Continent. Making sure there's no spoilers.
Yeah, that's a...
Pick yourself up and rebuild the entire party before confronting Kefka. Is an epic comeback. As always, thanks for everything. You good. Love and respect, Mo Grant.
Nice.
Thanks, yeah. So, big video game comebacks.
Yeah.
Either narratively or corporately.
Corporately, or I saw in chat, like No Man's Sky. Like that's
No Man's Sky.
But before that,
the one that jumped to my head, too.
The way I find to talk about it every single podcast, Final Fantasy 14 coming back from a realm, from 1.0 to a Realm Reborn.
Yeah, big one.
Seems like ancient history at this point. Those two for sure.
I mean, thinking about Demon Souls, like the reception to that initially versus like just how they stuck to their guns basically and not getting corporate, because like a bunch of people on the corporate side were just wrong about that game. Like people loved it. Everyone thought it would fail.
In-game narrative ones.
Yeah, it's kind of the storyline of most games.
Yeah, like every RPG is like
coming up against odds.
Yeah, you have to have that moment where it's like, you're getting so strong, but then you come across a boss who like kicks your ass. You have to fail fight, and it's like, oh no, we're doomed. And it's like, no, you must train harder and gain your go beyond your limits and like
learn to obliterate the soul from within.
Yeah, it's like here we go, kill God now, you win.
You have to become or kill God. Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, Destiny. Yeah, that's a good one. Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. I mean, Switch a good one. Diablo. Which one? 3, 4? The one that they reworked or whatever.
Oh yeah. 3, I think.
There's been a few others, like maybe not as high profile, but like decent ones. That
Cyberpunk made the game work. That's pretty good.
I mean, it seems like companies that stick with a game and keep updating it to make it, improved, even when it's like a single player experience game. Those are, love that.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of good examples on that. I'm trying to think of my favorite narrative one. It's tricky. Without like spoiling anything. I mean, yeah, RPGs are the ones that keep coming to mind.
Yeah, and plus, like, being an anime mindset right now, it's like that's like every freaking multiple times in every anime.
It's gonna be great when we finally get the Xenogears remake and they actually end the game. That'll be
that
cool.
will be epic.
That'll be a great comeback.
Yes. Imagine like that trailer and it just like the final the final text on screen is like, and blah blah blah, like new visuals, new music, or whatever, and actually, like it says, an ending.
Yeah, not with ending. Yeah.
And the DLC is like original ending.
yeah.
All of
Disc
text.
2 is not just a weird cutscene. All right. By the way, before we get to this week's bet, we have Easy Allies patrons are getting 2 bonus love and respect questions. This week we're talking about Keanu. And we're also weighing in on this whole Tupac Stranger Than Heaven thing again. So if you want to get in on that, get on the extended cut. Become a patron, $5, patreon.com/easyallies. By becoming a patron, you also get an ad-free version of this podcast 2 days early, an incredible value. You get to join our official Discord, an incredible value. And you get to submit questions to Love and Respect, which we really appreciate. And it's an incredible value. Not only do we need your support, we need your questions. Get in there. Thank you so much. And if you really want to help us out, you can join one of our producer tiers. Starting at $25, all our producers get their names added to the monthly podcast credits, which are read aloud by Brandon Jones, often hilariously mispronounced. Our platinum producers get a shout-out on this podcast every week. And this month's shout-outs go to Jabawabs, Elthanis, and Lizard Wizard 64. Shout out. All right, now come join us on Patreon for those bonus questions. Patreon.com/easyallies. It is time for bets. Oh yeah, I didn't write mine down. I'm going to write it down. Star Fox comes out on Thursday, June 25th, the same day that we film the next podcast. And the same day you can pre-order GTA 6. How many words will be in the top comment on YouTube, on Nintendo's YouTube channel?
Got it.
For the most recent Star Fox video, so like launch trailer, for example. We will sort the comments. We'll leave them on the default sorting, which is top, on whichever computer we're checking on next week. Numbers such as time code would count as one word. So it's like if someone is like 0:46, haha, frog looks funny. You know, that 0:46 would count as one word. Damiani.
I also want to say Star Fox is also another comeback with Fox being in the Mario movie, Galaxy movie, and getting a resurgence here. I was going back and forth. I'm going to go with 25, but I will reveal the other number I was thinking of was 4, because I think I don't think it's going to be next week, but eventually Do a Barrel Roll will be the winning top comment at some point.
Such a good call.
But not yet. In a year, that'll be the top comment.
Yeah, that'll be the top.
So I'm going with 25 words.
25. I'm going to say 15. Because that's what the current 2 weeks ago video had, was 15. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll just go with that. All right, we'll lock those in. Last week's bet, Football World Cup. How many goals will USA score on June 12th, 2026, which was USA versus Paraguay? Damiani said 1. Huber said 3. I was being cheeky and I said 0. The actual answer, they won. It was 4. USA 4, Paraguay 1. So Huber takes that.
Yeah.
Bringing the scores to Huber, the 2-time defending World Series champions Los Angeles Dodgers, to 9 points. Me, Isla, the capable idea, has 8 points. Don, Strawberries and Cream, has 7. Damiani, Straw Hat Pirates, has 3. And the wild card, the sexy, undulating Hahamse, burrowing Phoenix Herd, and Charizard's Coffee Cavalcade, has 2. I will confess that because I prepared this bet question for this week, I picked Star Fox because I wanted to give Damiani an advantage, even though it's completely random and he has no advantage in this. I was like, just it being Star Fox will give you some kind of a cosmic advantage. So you could always game this, chat. Get in there and upvote a comment that has 25 or more words, and Damiani will win. Oh, Damiani sees something. The cats are up to something. I'll do the promotions in the meantime. We did a whole lot of SGF coverage, chat, and believe it or not, there is still some SGF content coming. A few embargoed impressions are still on the way. Huber Hype is on the way, and the betting special results show are in the works. They're cooking. Some of them will be soon. Some of them will be less soon, but still happening. Catch up on what you might have missed. We have a whole playlist of all of our stuff. We did hours of impressions and individual videos and reaction streams. So if you missed anything, if you want to see our take on something from SGF, give it a check a look. Huber's not here, so we'll split it. Damiani. We can shout out to anyone or anything that's on our mind. We get the final word and the final sign off. Which one do you want? Which ones do you want?
Ooh, I can take any of them. Do you have one you want?
I like doing my sign off.
Okay. I can do shout out. I gotta shout out the Knicks. I know we were asked about it, but 53-year drought.
That's wild. Congrats.
Congrats, New York.
Mamdani did it, dude.
You gotta keep.
Good job.
If anything, you gotta keep voting him in because the Knicks will keep winning. So you gotta keep it up. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And the Yankees have been hot streak too lately. Yeah. Thank you. Shout out to the Dodgers for beating Tampa Bay and allowing the Yankees to get like a 3 or 4 game lead over them now. Thank you, Dodgers. They're sweeping the Tampa Bay. Sorry, that's kind of nasty, but I was like, damn it, Huber, your Dodgers better win. Do you want final word or?
I ain't got nothing to say. We've been saying things this whole damn show.
Final word. Damn, One Piece is good. Episode. I want to be positive. Let's do something positive. That episode 1000 opening. Just again, like
Hell yeah.
One of the things, like obviously, like as long as you're not spoiled on that, like it's such a huge moment. But like this is also why, like when Huber argues, like watch everything week to week over time. That moment for people who watched One Piece week after week for how many goddamn years, since 1999 or whatever, whenever it first started being localized in other countries. That's like 20 something, almost gonna be coming up on 30 years. Like, holy crap.
That's crazy.
Coming up on 30 years, but like getting that, it was 4 years ago, so like 20 years ago, like getting that payoff, like holy shit, that's awesome.
Love that. Good night and good game.
It's never too late to try and like redeem yourself and do some like good